All right. Oh, yay. Yeah, I watched you on that one, and you were definitely rocking it. You had something going on there. All right. So I'm tuning into my page as well, and it should be there live. Can you see it yet?
I'm looking. I'm looking.
Oh,
Yes.
I've got such a
Yes. Oh,
my connection is just hanging, so I'll wait a little bit for everybody who is with us on Facebook Live. Please do be patient with me. For some reason, I can't pick up the live stream. I know that Susie can, and of course, if you're with us on Facebook Live, you most certainly are picking up the live stream. So it's great to have you with us. Please do take this opportunity to share. Today, Susie Beiler and myself were talking about adversity. And just before we came on air, I was chatting to Susie about a talk that she did. It was a live stream that I caught. It was on anxiety. It was about overcoming anxiety. You simplified it, Susie. You put it across so perfectly. And I really would love for you just to, as we discuss adversity, anxiety is most certainly a part of that. I'd love you to bring that through. But first of all, a warm welcome to the show.
thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. It's so good to be here.
Oh, fantastic. I still can't get the live stream, so sorry about not being able to see any names as yet. It will eventually get there, I have no doubt. Um, Susie, darling, I've had you on the show before, and
Yes.
I've never been so organized as to have your bio right in front of me. So let's see if I can turn over a new leaf right here in front of your presence and get myself more organized. So if you go to my events page, everyone, if you're listening to this on the replay, even if you're listening to this on YouTube and it happens to be months after the original live, you'll still find all this information, which will lead you to Susie's website and all of her social media pages as well. And of course, you'll be able to read her bio. So just to introduce Susie to you, in case you have not yet had the privilege of meeting this wonderful, wonderful woman, it says Susie Beiler is a certified holistic health practitioner and the founder of the Creation Temple, which is an online resource for supporting light workers in their spiritual path. With training in occupational therapy and holistic nutrition, Susie experienced a profound shift in 2004 after a sudden spiritual awakening. She healed herself from chronic fatigue syndrome or adrenal burnout and began a new path devoted to her inner work, healing, and reprogramming her brain in profound ways. In 2014, Susie took a leap of faith when she left Pennsylvania, not knowing where spirit was guiding her. And now she is a channel for the divine, a facilitator of sacred ceremony, and a master of the healing arts. Susie utilizes a variety of modalities, including, and I have heard this, the deep sound healing. If you have not heard that, I do suggest you be in touch with Susie. It's absolutely activating is the word I want to use when you listen to her wonderful deep sound healing, holistic nutrition, spiritual and lifestyle coaching, DNA activations, and energy healing. Well, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it as Susie brings across her information. You're going to feel how beautifully she brings it across so that you feel. You can't just listen to Susie. You're going to feel Susie. And just so you know where she's located, Susie is currently in Sedona, Arizona, where she enjoys nature, authenticity, and high vibrational food. Susie, darling, it's so good. I think is this the second time or the third time I've had you on my show?
I feel like it's the third, but we've done a couple of things together. So
I know, yeah.
Does it matter?
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It's just so great to have you back. It's so great to connect.
I love being with you, Kerry. I don't know why we wait so long.
I know it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I just adore your presence.
You are radiant, sister. You are so very, very radiant. From the last time I spoke to you, whenever that was, to now, even seeing you on lives, I often just catch little glimpses of you. I don't know when last I saw you looking this radiant. You look amazing.
Thank you. Cry.
Oh, sweetheart. Yeah, you see, this is what happens when we speak sister to sister and
Yeah.
heart to heart. We can
Yeah.
only, the words are secondary, Susie, right? The words are secondary. We first get this waft of energy, and then the words just kind of explain what that energy is. But that was me just in supreme honoring of you. I know you've walked through
Yeah.
so much, and I just honor what you've done. You're coming out shining.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you've overcome your own adversity.
Always,
Yeah.
all the time, all the time. I'll say, as a deeply sensitive, empathic being,
Yeah.
every day is overcoming adversity in some ways.
Mm.
Like every morning, making sure I'm in my body, trying to, be fully here.
Yeah.
Every day, facing the unknown with we all face the unknown every day, but when you're extremely sensitive, there is a rawness of the nervous system that's like, okay, what's the energy of today?
Mm.
And being in Sedona, where everything's super ultra amplified, I've basically put myself in this position where everything's raw, everything's vulnerable, everything's amplified, and it's kind of always that way. And so when things are joyful and great and amazing, it's super joyful and great and amazing. When things are challenging and tough, things are challenging and tough. And I don't really get a lot of in between. It seems to be kind of that's not true. That's not true. I'm exaggerating. There are in between days, but just to give a perspective.
I relate though. I relate to that extreme that you're talking about, and I wonder if those listening can as well. But life certainly has seemed to be less kind of, can I say, even keel, and more in the up or the down, and there's that fluxing between the two. I find that nothing is as it was, which is great, isn't it? It's good news and bad news.
It's a double-edged sword, Kerry. It's fabulous. What we've been wanting. We've been wanting the change. We've been wanting the transformation. And Prime Creator's always talking about how polarity is increasing, and it's going to continue to increase until it doesn't need to anymore. So we're in that time where polarity is increasing, and it's our job to integrate that polarity. It's our job to be in that dynamic balance and that dance every moment, every day. And it takes a ton of mastery.
Yes, it does. And awareness and presence, Susie. I remember living a life, even though I was spiritually aware, awakened, intuitive, empathic, all of that stuff. But I think 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the demand for presence is nothing like it is now.
I agree. Yeah. And speaking of presence, I'm very present to the juice in my nose since you made me cry.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was so inconsiderate of me.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize.
I've got that knack with people. I need to lose it somewhere along the line, but yeah.
No,
well, I finally picked up the live stream. You'll be pleased to know. So I can now say hello to those who are with us on the live stream. Hello to Sirpa. I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Georgiana, and of course we've got the wonderful Elaine with us, and Elaine always sends the most loving little messages, and today's message says, hello beautiful sacred souls. You know how I made you cry? Well, Elaine often does this to me because you can just feel it already. She says, so honored to share this sacred now with the one and all, eternal gratitude, beloved one. Thank you for such a gorgeous, heartfelt, loving message. Hello to Marjorie, who's just tuning in with us now. Sweetheart, Susie Beiler, darling, you've walked the walk. You certainly talk the talk. You back it up, though, with your real life living legacy of being one who is so connected to her heart, so empathic, you feel everything amplified. So it's kind of like you've got emotions on steroids, right? I think I think a lot of people are going, "Ooh, me too, me too." But as we as we evolve, we no longer have the choice to hide that anymore. Because that was the old coping mechanism, wasn't it? We used to feel all of that stuff. We had the emotions on steroids, that was all there, but it wasn't necessarily visible. And I feel like we've way past that place.
Oh yeah,
We don't
for
have the
sure.
choice anymore to even hide it. So tell us about overcoming adversity, and how have you overcome your adversities that you've walked through?
Yes. Well, I do believe one of the ways is to allow ourselves to feel what we feel.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I would watch my mom and she would cry at every little thing. And me and my siblings, we would just roll our eyes, like, there she goes again.
Oh.
And I made a kind of conscious, probably kind of unconscious decision back then. I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to cry at every little thing. And I shut it down. Not completely, but I shut it down. And after my awakening, I had several years of just crying, just deep wailing and weeping and sobbing and just all of these tears. And there was a point where I was like, wow, if I didn't know what was going on, I would think I'm insane.
Wow.
I mean, no one cries this much.
Yeah.
And I was talking to someone and they said the best thing. And they said, Susie, your tears are gifts to Mother Earth. They're precious jewels that are falling upon her surface. This is your gift to her. Let your tears flow. Let them fall. And that just opened up this permission for me to feel what I feel. And I think sometimes when we're faced with adversity, we don't want to go into the full feeling of it because it kind of sucks. You know, it's hard. It doesn't feel good to feel grief or sorrow or anger or rage, or, you know, it doesn't feel good. And so those of us who haven't exercised that emotional part of our spectrum, we, you know, want to kind of shut it down. But in facing adversity, I really do believe that we need to fully feel all of our emotions. And that helps us to move through.
Yeah. Not just the good ones. We've got to feel all of them, because I think that's the trap. It's kind of like, you know, a lot of people have gone, oh, I'll feel my emotions, but not that one, not that deep, dark, scary one. And of course, we don't get to be selective because it's a spectrum of emotional energy that we're unlocking and unblocking.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you felt it when you were first really awakening. There were tears, and then there was probably laughter, and then there was tears, and then there was the highs and the lows that we spoke about earlier. That's part of the deal. As we unlock emotion, yes, we may be unlocking fear, anxiety, depression, anger, rage, even the so-called ugly stuff. But with that, we're also unlocking our ability to love in a way we've never loved before, to experience joy in a way, and wonder in a way we've never experienced before. So yes, all of this is what happens when we experience emotions fully. So I love that. I love that that's where you start. Yeah.
And when you start to really allow yourself to feel, to also be very aware, not to get stuck in those feelings, not to wallow. It's a fine balance. It takes a lot of awareness, because what can happen is you start to get, if what you're facing is dragging on for a while, you start to get used to being angry, or you start to get used to being in grief. And there can come a point where it's then unhealthy to be feeling that all the time. The idea is to move it through, let it go, not to get stuck in it. And so it takes a lot of awareness so that you don't become wallowing or stuck.
Yeah, definitely. That was going to be my next question to you is, okay, we've got to feel emotions. How do we feel emotions? And I think you've hit on possibly the most important point, and that is with awareness. Feel them with awareness so that you don't find yourself falling unconsciously into that emotion.
Yeah.
There's a part, I don't know if you would agree, there's a part of me certainly when I'm feeling emotions that kind of is the neutral observer to that emotion, so that the emotion is surfacing simultaneous to that. There's the neutral observer who's able to maintain grace and balance whilst that is happening.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still working on developing that neutral observer part of me. Because I am so emotional. I'm a deeply emotional being. It's very easy for me to get swept up in the emotion of everything. And so I'm working on stepping back and being the neutral observer. That's my mastery right now.
Yeah. Darling, what kind of adversities are you seeing humanity walking through at the moment? You obviously deal with a lot of people. You've got a huge client base. You know where people are at. You've got your finger on the pulse. What are you seeing humanity grappling with? What are their adversities right now?
I'm going to narrow it down into one specific group of people because I work with sensitive empaths and I help them create and manifest their life from a place of soul alignment. So I'm seeing the sensitive ones, I'm seeing the empaths really struggle with overwhelm and overload to their nervous system because they're feeling the chaos that's happening. They're feeling things fall apart. And if they're not understanding what's happening, like things are falling apart so that we can put them back together, but they're feeling the falling apart. And if they don't understand what's happening, it's very overwhelming. Even I who do understand what's happening, it's very overwhelming, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm seeing this group of people struggle sometimes with staying centered with their own energy, remembering who they are, remembering why they're here, and instead getting sucked into what's happening on the media, what is the news saying about what's happening, and getting a bit confused about what's happening because they're watching the news instead of tuning in to their own hearts and to their own truth. And it's very easy, as sensitive ones, it's very easy to get taken out of center because there are a lot of triggers, emotional charges. We're getting triggered by something that someone said to us or about us. We're getting triggered by what we hear in the news. We're getting triggered by what we're feeling on a daily basis. I mean, there's a ton of fodder for us to be triggered. And that is something that we really need to work on mastery and need to be on point. And I speak to myself as well. We really need to continue to come back to center, to continue to come back to our souls, to our hearts, and to stay vigilant about the energies we're allowing into our space and to set healthy boundaries so that we're not allowing our nervous systems to be overwhelmed by energy that's not ours and that we're not meant to be interacting with and engaging with. And that's hard.
Yeah, definitely. Susie, adversity, if you just think about what it is, it's a lack of flow. And it's also, it implies, or at least this is how we've done adversity in the past, it's something we're pushing against, knowingly or unknowingly. We're adverse to a situation, a person, whatever it is. So when we're in adversity, there's resistance somewhere within us. If there was no resistance, then flow would be happening and adversity would not be happening.
Right.
So speak of resistance and what you do. Let's just say that you're counseling somebody and you've identified that they're in resistance to whatever. How do you support somebody who you've identified as in resistance in overcoming that resistance?
Finding a place of acceptance of what's going on. And acceptance does not equal complacency. Be clear about that. But finding a place of where can I be okay with this? How can I be okay with what's happening? I know it's not right. It's not just. It doesn't feel good. I don't like it. Whatever the thing is. But there's always a place where we can come to acceptance of it.
Mm.
This is happening. I have no control over it. I surrender. I surrender what's happening now. I surrender the future outcome of this event. And finding a place of acceptance deep within the being. And not only that, but remembering the bigger picture and remembering who you are, remembering why you're here on this planet. And I'll just share a little bit personally. The past 5 months, I've just come out of a 5-month stretch of absolute feeling like I've been, punched in the gut, knocked over the head, run over by a truck, you name it. Like just things kept happening out of my control, things that I didn't cause, things that I didn't create, but they just kept popping up in my world. And the thing that got me through was remembering the bigger picture, remembering my mission, remembering who I am, the energetic signatures that I bring, why I'm here on this planet in the first place, remembering my mission. This is a temporary blip in time, what I'm going through. I will come out on the other side. I always do. And that remembering, 5 months is a long time when it's super intense suffering. I'll use the word suffering. I will. It's a long time. And that was always underneath. There's a reason I'm here. There's a bigger mission. And my mission is bigger than what's happening now. And that is where my power was. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. It makes such sense because you're describing the journey from pretending to be in control, which is absolutely what we did. It's we were conditioned as third dimensional beings to control ourselves. I remember that being a favorite phrase of my mom in particular. It was, you got to control yourself in this situation. There was almost always a finger being pointed at me and the word, you've got to control yourself. Okay, I don't know what this control thing is, but clearly I need it. So we learned whether we wanted it or not, we learned that we had to be in control of our emotions, which actually really, we didn't know it at the time, but it actually really meant inhibited. Because any time that we move into control, we are stifling or suppressing something somewhere. The opposite of control is not recklessness, because I think a lot of people think it is. Think of the expression, oh, such and such a person is so out of control. We should actually be out of control. I had a huge giggle with a client yesterday. I said to her, oh my gosh, well done, you're out of control. And she said, I know. And it was like the best triumph ever. Finally, I'm out of control. But what she was in was freedom, was power. Oh my gosh, surrender and trusting what she had surrendered to. So yes, what you said makes perfect sense, because you're describing that journey out of control and into power, into surrender, into all of those things that happen when we dare to let go of the known, because that's also what control is. It's sticking around in the illusion of the known and moving into what we think is scary because it's the unknown, but actually is the place that our power lies. So yeah, Susie, absolutely. Here we are, humanity, bravely getting out of control in the most positive possible way, and seeing how else can I live life? If I'm not going to do control, what am I going to do? And what would life look like then? Susie, I want to just check in with some of these beautiful people. Hi to Kathy, who's in on the live stream. Hello to Julia, great that you're here. And hello, wonderful Jackie. Hello to Joanne, who says, hi, it's Joe from Ireland. Hello, wonderful Janet Longman, who's just up the road somewhere. And hello to Pia and Marjorie and everybody else who's been joining us. There's a message here. Who was this from? Kathy says, very difficult as an empath teaching 32 first graders. Wow. Some of them, she says, are very needy. So an empath teaching 32 first graders, Kathy, you have all of my love and respect.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Yeah.
Deep respect.
Yeah. So let's look at somebody like Kathy, who is incredibly empathic, as you are, as other people you work with. How do we, Susie, how do we not lose ourselves in what we're tuning into?
Yeah.
Is it as simple as saying, just tune into you? Is it that?
Well, yes and no. I think it's like for Kathy, it's important for her to remember her mission. Why is she with these 30 kids?
Mm.
Why is she with these children?
Mm.
What is her mission with these children? Like every day when she goes into that classroom, that should be the first thing in her heart, in her mind. What is my mission with these kids? And then one of the things that I do with my people is I activate them with their soul. And so I take them through just a really simple process where you ask questions like, how does it feel to be with my soul essence? How does it feel to be with my soul wisdom, my soul knowledge? How does it feel for my soul to be expressed through my being? And to get that activation and then continue working with those questions every day, several times a day, because the more you ask those questions, the more you are amplifying your soul presence within your being. And that's probably why you felt my radiance, Kerry, because when I was going through the adversity, I was doing that constantly. And I'm doing it constantly anyway. But that was something that was one of my practices. How does it feel to be with my energy and essence? And to draw that up into my being and to cultivate that when I'm alone, when I'm with people, when I go into the grocery store, when I'm driving in my car, you know, when I'm having a difficult conversation, whatever it is, always I'm bringing that up. How does it feel? My energy and essence. And the more you practice that, so it's easy on one hand, right? It's pretty simple. But the challenge then is to practice that and to keep doing that. And when, Kathy, when you're with those kids, ask yourself those questions. How does it feel to be with my energy? You can still feel, you know, the emotions of the kids, but it won't pull you out of center. You can still, you know, tune in as an authority figure with those children, and you can feel what they're going through, but you're centered in your energy and essence, and that will make a huge difference in your ability to relate with them and your ability to control the classroom. Because a teacher does have to be in control of the classroom. You know, that's part of the job. You have to have organizational skills and ability to keep those kids at attention. So that's something that will help when you are fully centered with your energy. It makes all the difference in the world. It really, really does.
Tell us about anxiety. I started talking about it a little bit earlier as we went into this conversation, and I'm sitting here thinking, there's a lot of people in a lot of anxiety right now. Part of adversity, we spoke about it earlier, is where we start resisting something, we start blocking or trying to block, trying to be in control in the negative sense, you know, where we're now experiencing ourselves being suppressed, repressed, inhibited. Anxiety begins to surface for a lot of people, and anxiety can be crippling for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
What do you say to people around anxiety?
Well, first I want to acknowledge for people how real it is, how real it feels to you, how real you experience it. Yes, it is real. And it's also a program. And it feels very real, but it's a program. So when you're feeling anxiety, and there are different levels and there are different ways that people experience it, it is a projection onto you of a program that's been set up by those who want us to be in fear, by those who want to keep us in fear and cripple us, disable us. So yes, when you experience it, it feels very real. And in a lot of ways, it is very real. And remember that it's not real. So this is, when you're in the midst of it, I understand, trust me, I understand how hard it is to hear that. And yet there's going to be a part of you that hears that and it's going to make sense. And I'm hoping the part of you that hears that it's a program really takes this on and acknowledges it and empowers you, because you can disable the program.
Yes.
That's the important part. You have the power to disable the program. And the first way to disable the program is to recognize it for what it is. When you start to feel the anxiety, recognize, oh yeah, I see you. You're not real. This is a program that's being projected onto me. And I do not accept you into my field. I do not accept the anxiety energies as part of my experience. I do not accept the hooks of anxiety to come into my body, to come into my being. I do not accept the program of anxiety to be run through my nervous system. I do not accept the program of anxiety to be run through my brain. I do not accept the program of anxiety to be hooked into my gut or my stomach. I do not accept the program of anxiety to be run through my cellular matrix. And as you begin to disable the program with this non-acceptance of it in your being, you may have some cellular trauma come up. And so it may feel like this isn't working, Susie, but in actuality, it is working because you are now releasing some of that cellular trauma. And if you are a deeply sensitive empath, you may feel the cellular trauma as it's on its way out. And if you don't understand that's happening, you might mistake it for feeling more anxiety. And you may think that, oh, it's getting worse, when in truth, you are releasing it. And it will get worse if you keep engaging with it. And if you identify with it, it absolutely will get worse. And so you have to be very clear. And it is helpful to have someone work with you when you do this. But if you are at that high level, that high mastery level, you may be able to do this by yourself, but it is always helpful to have someone helping.
Agreed.
You have to stay very clear about what's happening and what you're doing. And to stay on it, because the anxiety projections are going to continue to come. You know, we have 5G, we have technologies all around us that are blasting us with these programs. So it's not something that you disable and then it's gone forever. It's still in the ethers, but the more you strengthen yourself, the less you'll engage with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we've become acclimated to living with so much bombardment. You know, we do have this concern about 5G, forgetting though that we've already been exposed to 3G and 4G and to GMOs and to so many pollutants and toxins that most bodies, quite honestly, would not even be able to handle. And that's the physical exposure. We've coupled with that, we've got the emotional exposure, which is what you're addressing right now. Let's just give ourselves credit, shall we?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Our bodies are so powerful and amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I cried in the beginning when you said that I felt radiant was because of how amazing this body is to come through what it came through in the past 5 months, and for someone to experience it as radiant, like that's a testament to how amazing our bodies are. We are resilient. The body knows how to adapt, and the nervous system knows how to create new neural connections and new activation points. You know, the nervous system and the brain and the body, it's complex and wonderful and beautiful and powerful and amazing. So yeah, thank you for saying that, Kerry, because we do need to remember that.
Yeah.
And when you're in that space of remembrance, disabling the anxiety program, that's power.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So I see so often people kind of moving into that quivering fear. Oh, 5G. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's, nothing to be concerned about. It's everything to be concerned about, but concern and fear are different. And if we knew for 1 minute how powerful we actually are, how divine, how magnificent we truly are, we'd be going, I've got this. I've so got this. If God, whatever you see God as, perhaps it's the dude with the beard and the staff, whatever your visual, perhaps it's the universe, whatever you see God as. Imagine God on this planet going, oh my gosh, 5G is going to kill me. No. However you see God, God is going to go, wow, look at what they're doing. That's interesting. Hey, but the concept of I'm doomed is not going to be there because an omnipotent, creative, divine being knows that they're omnipotent, creative, and divine. We have to rekindle that within ourselves.
Yes.
And remind ourselves of our divinity. And please, God, remind each other of our divinity.
Yes.
That's so, I've started this group on Facebook.
You do that very well. You do that very well.
Thank you, love. Thank you. Well, because I feel passionate about it. I really do. And an amazing thing has happened. I started a group on Facebook, and it originated as a group for a handful of people. When I say a handful, about 20 people that had just completed a course with me and wanted to stay connected because they were processing a lot. But man, they started sharing amazing stuff, and the group, as small as it was, became filled with so much light. And I said to them, I have this feeling that we should share this. I have this feeling that we shouldn't cloister what we've created here, and that we may just have created it to share with more and more people. And how do you guys feel about opening the group to others to join? And it's a bit of a hum and a ha, but eventually we did this. We opened the group up, and it's that place, Susie, for so many people. It's that place where people can come and have a conversation where there is respect and reverence and love and community and acknowledgement of another human being. The hey, I see you, or hey, I hear you. It is so powerful. Yes, let's acknowledge ourselves, but let's also acknowledge each other, because it's a great thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you, that this thing happened without me intending for it to happen, but it's been one of the best things.
That's part of overcoming adversity also, Kerry, when we come together as a community to build each other up, to support each other, to call each other out when needed, to grow together. We're not meant to do this alone. And that's the reason why you created the group. And that's the reason why I created the Creation Temple. We're meant to come together and work with each other, share with each other, grow with each other, transform with each other. This is how we do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, and I've told my Creation Temple members this, we meet every week on video. That's our commitment to each other. And if I had not had those weekly gatherings with them, it would have been very easy for me to get sucked down into my own little world and have a Susie pity party and stay there, It would have been all too easy for me to do that. But because I had committed to showing up every week, there was something where I was in service every week And that was part of me overcoming my adversity. So there's another piece to this. Yes, coming together in community, and then also stepping up in service. And it's very fascinating right now. I have some people in my life where I can see those stepping up in service are, you know, they're upgrading, they're transforming, they're moving forward. Those who are not stepping up to be in service with other people, they're spiraling, they're stagnating. It's very fascinating to see the polarity and how clear it is. Like, we must step up in service. It's non-negotiable. That's why we're here on this planet. We must be in our service. If we're not, think about it. If we're not, what are we doing? We're stagnating.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not why we came here. That's not what we came to do. So service is a huge, huge piece of overcoming adversity also. And I've developed this muscle over many, many years of, in the worst of times for me, when I've felt at my worst, I do something to put myself in a place of service. And it works. It works to shift me out of the victimhood, out of the disempowerment, you know, whatever I'm feeling at the moment. And that is a very powerful tool. So I would invite those of you who are with us today, if you are in that place where you just feel overwhelmed by the adversity, do something to help someone else. Pay for the person's groceries in front of you. Give someone a smile and a hug. Say a kind word to somebody. Do something for someone else. And it's remarkable how that will shift you. Because we are meant, you know, as empaths especially, we feel the reaction of the other person, of the kind deed we've done. That feeds us. That's why it's good to be an empath, right?
Yes, I never thought of that. Wow, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, soak that in, you know, you do something kind for someone and they're just so appreciative. Like, soak in that gratitude, receive that. You know? And then you spiral up together.
You have so opened my eyes to something right now. Thank you.
When you receive the gratitude of somebody else, then you're also lifted up. And then because they see that you've received, they're lifted up. And you just keep lifting each other up. And it's this beautiful upward spiral. I think we call it ascension, maybe?
So I've heard that word once or twice. Yeah, but yeah, it's a whole new thing. All the cool kids are doing it.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Oh man, that is so super cool. The whole thing about empaths, you know, you say the word empath and you get those nods, you know, like the shame, you're an empath, you know, because it's kind of like a known thing that empaths feel things so intensely, they go into extremes. I've never actually viewed it in the way that you've just highlighted it, that there's this incredible upside to being, it's very obvious. Don't ask me why it's never dawned on me before, but it just never has. There is such a powerful upside to being an empath.
Yeah.
Holy moly, that's phenomenal. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Susie, I love, sorry.
It's kind of a validation in a way for those of us who like to be validated. It, you know, when someone receives something that we do and they really receive it, it's a validation that we've done something good, you know? And as humans, we need validation. Like, I'll just say it, we're humans. It's something that our egos need. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because it's great to be seen for who we are.
Yeah,
it's great to be seen for the truth of who we are. You spoke about service earlier, and that was a comment I wanted to make, because again, I think it's a misconception people have. The moment you hear the word service, we have connotations to so many words, and service, we think of, if you asked anybody to put service into a sentence, they would probably come up with something to do with service to others, which is true. Service is for others. But if we thought of it as service to the whole, instead of service to others. The whole makes us realize that we are serving ourselves because we are part of the whole as well. Whereas service to others can be confused for self-sacrifice.
Correct. And I like, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I just get concerned when I see people doing the service, because there is a blurry line there.
Yeah.
Where we can excuse self-sacrifice for service.
Yeah.
But if we understand that it's always service to the whole, then I feel like we've got clarity on what that means.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because there's the flip side way to look at it also. When I'm doing service to self, when I'm doing self-love, self-care activities, it is so that I can give more. It is so that I can step up in service more sustainably.
Yes.
It's never about me, and it's always about me.
Yes. That's the paradox. Yeah.
So when I take care of myself, yes, it's for me, and it's also for those I serve. If I'm not taking care of myself, I can't show up on a live stream and share with you guys. I can't take care of my Creation Temple members. I can't take care of my clients. If I don't take care of myself, I'm not good to anybody. And like I said earlier, we're here to do this thing together. So the service to self must be in a correct balance.
Yeah.
So that you are giving from your overflow, so that you have plenty to give.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for reaffirming that, because I think that all too often people feel almost like there's a sense of, I'm not allowed to have, I'm not allowed to prosper, I'm not allowed. It's just old paradigm remnants that might be there. So thank you for that reminder, because I think it's helpful to a lot of people. Susie, darling, on adversity, is there anything else that you want to bring through for people that we haven't yet touched? Because I feel like we've given some amazing tools and insights.
Yeah.
But I want to check in.
I do want to share that testimonial that I mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah.
And I want to preface it with, remember how powerful you are. And again, saying this to myself as much as I'm saying it to you. Remember how powerful you are. The body is capable of amazing things. The spirit is capable of amazing things. Your emotional body is capable of amazing things. And this point was just this morning. One of my Creation Temple members shared this with me, and she said that I could share it. And I'm not going to mention her name because it is very personal. She said, for about 1.5 years, I was experiencing very bad bleeding every time I would use the bathroom. I knew that it was anxiety related, but nothing I did stopped that from happening. I could feel my digestive system was failing. I knew the doctors wouldn't be able to help. Since we did, in the Creation Temple, we did an anxiety program revocation. A little bit more in depth than what I did with you guys earlier. Since that anxiety revocation, it has not happened one time, not once. It was completely removed during our meditation, and I'm so unbelievably grateful for that. And, you know, she was saying like how I saved her life, and I'm, or how this was life-saving work, something like that. I don't want to twist the words, but yes, I take credit for bringing that forth and understanding that anxiety is a program, so that I could share that with her. And I give her all the credit for receiving that and for working with the program. Like, I didn't do that in her body. She did that in her body. Right? I want to be very clear that when something like this happens, it's because you have taken responsibility. You have taken the information and used it and healed yourself. And you are powerful enough to do that.
Yes. Yes. So the person has done that. The person has empowered themselves. They've taken responsibility, but you've provided the tools.
Yeah.
You've given them something that they can, like a path that they can navigate.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are so many tools like that in the Creation Temple. Even if you're not a member that comes with us live every week, you will receive, every time we meet, we do a meditation or an activation or a channeling with Prime Creator. And then I edit out that part and provide it to the people at, I have different tiers, different paying levels. I provide it to you at the lower paying level so that you can receive the activations, the meditations, you can receive those energetic signatures and codes that I bring. And this is a combination of ancient wisdom combined with the codes and essences from the future. And so we combine the ancient with what's happening in our future, what we need to create the new paradigm here on planet Earth. You take that in, you work with those energy codes and signatures, and you can transform yourself. And so that's what we're doing in the Creation Temple.
How does a person find the Creation Temple? How do they join you, and how do they find you there?
Yeah, it's super easy. You go to creationtemple.com.
Huh.
You can become a free member or different levels of paid membership. And the top 2 levels of paid membership get you into those weekly gatherings where we're live via video, we see each other, we connect, we commune, we have created a quantum field that is almost 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
You're blowing my mind with this right now. We're almost 3 years old. So this quantum field has been building and building and building for almost 3 years. So it's potent. When you step in, this person that shared this, she stepped in 2 or 3 months ago and this is not the only thing she's experienced. She's also experienced other miraculous things. So the field is potent. Like when you're ready to transform, step into that field and you'll just start to transform very quickly. It's really, really cool. I'm personally blown away a little bit myself just to be able to observe what we've created together. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah. It's beautiful to witness something like that unfolding. I've got an online group as well. I get it. I get what you're saying. That experience of being live and in each other's energetic field, the lights come on in the most profound way. So thank you for that, beautiful Susie. Thank you for that. Everybody, I do need you to know that tomorrow I have got a wonderful guest. Do look at my events page, samadhispeaks.com. Look at the events page. Tomorrow I've got Ivania Bartholomew's, and she is one loving woman. I can't wait for that conversation with her. She spoke right into my heart through a live stream, and I know she's going to speak to your heart as well. And then some really exciting news I have got. You'll find this on the events page as well. The 20th of September, Friday the 20th of September, I'm doing a live draw on Facebook. Be here for the live draw to get one of 12 prizes. There are going to be 6 free tickets given away to the Heaven's Gate Symposium, which I cannot wait for. We've got 11 days and some phenomenal speakers who are all journeying into Heaven's Gate and beyond. I had a great chat with Jason Estes. Was it this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. And he just kept saying, this is Heaven's Gate. This right, what we're stepping into. This is it. This is it. And I could feel it with him. And I would love to share it all with you. There is 6 tickets that are going to be given away. 6 tickets that are going to be available at half price. So look at my events page to enter into the draw, and the live draw will be on Facebook. I can't wait to see who the winners are going to be, and I can't wait to see you at more lives. So please do keep checking in on the events page. Wonderful Susie Beiler, thank you for your time, for your devotion to humanity and you and your love and your mastery and everything that you bring. Thank you, sister. I love you so much.
Thank you, Kerry. I love you.
Everybody, lots and lots of love. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye for now.